The suburb of Sprowston has one of two full-time fire stations serving the city of Norwich. It also turns out for fires anywhere in the county of Norfolk, and it mans and operates the county's only chemical incident unit.
Right, everybody fitting well? Thank you very much, carry on.
Green Watch are beginning their shift with their regular fitness training. The fire engine follows a short distance behind in case of a call-out. Today it's just as well, because 3 minutes after leaving the fire station, a call comes in to attend a road accident where a driver appears to be trapped in a vehicle and may need to be cut out.
Straight on then, fastest crossroads, yeah?
Sub-Officer Richard Mcgonagall is manager of Green Watch and incident command.
We do pride ourselves particularly on being able to respond very, very quickly, within minutes, which means that everything we do has to be kind of pre-planned with that in mind. Whether it is eating, whether it is taking a shower, everything will be laid out there ready to jump into.
Mac, do you want me to conduct an inner-scene survey?
Crew manager is leading firefighter Mcgonagall.
On arrival at a traffic accident, you've got all sorts of issues really. Like you do have on dual carriageways, you've got a lot of high-speed traffic. But the considerations for the casualty who is probably trapped within the vehicle, and also the firefighter safety as well.
We'll stabilise the vehicle now, okay?
Am I right in thinking she was alone in the vehicle?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on how she's coming out of there? As you arrive at an incident, my role as incident commander would be to detail the particular tasks that are required. Most of the crew will know what's expected of them beforehand, and I can offer them a few gentle reminders if things aren't quite going to plan as we see it. Okay, the paramedic been made aware of that? I welcome their input, but ultimately the decision has to rest with myself. Two on glass management, the rest get the kit set up, we'll take the roof removal. Right. On the C-spine, please.
Right, listen up, lads. It's going to be a full roof removal, okay?
My role dealing with the first RTA we attended was basically trying to organise the crew for the watch manager into conducting what we call a team approach. So a whole specific range of tasks will follow, which everybody knows. It's a set-up procedure.
Braking now. Right, can we start cutting the posts now? Cutting!
Our principal priority is the safety of the casualty.
Final cut, plenty of support, please.
We need to ensure that the spine is immobilised and that the casualty, wherever possible, can come out of the vehicle in a very neutral position. In order to achieve that, our principal role is to make as much space as we can. This may involve cutting the roof off or removing the doors, depending on how the vehicle has ended up as a result of the accident.
Can you two position yourselves either side of the stretcher to accept the board as it comes out, please?
Yeah, ready, steady, slide.
It always appears as though the vehicle is almost like an ant's nest with people buzzing around it all the time, but I can assure you that everybody has their role and is quite clear about what they're supposed to be doing. And then we have quite an extensive liaison with the medical personnel to determine the best way for them to come out of the vehicle, and also so that we're fully aware of any injuries they may sustain.
The ambulance drives the casualty to hospital as the wreck recovery truck arrives. Green Watch can pack up now and go back to the fire station. The fitness training, interrupted at the beginning of the shift, resumes in the fire station's gym.
You just do not know what sort of incident you're going to be asked to attend, and you don't know how punishing that is going to be to your body. If you need to carry people out, if you're strong and fit, it just makes the job so much easier.
Sprowston's firefighters are fully trained to turn out with the county's chemical incident unit anywhere in Norfolk. Ever mindful that they might have to spontaneously break off to go to an emergency call-out, Green Watch's manager has planned a hazardous materials training incident in the fire station yard.
You and Jason can grab a suit each, get a set ready. All we have is 3 discarded containers. There's no obvious markings on them at the moment. Establish what the contents are. On a day like today, you're only going to have about 15 or 20 minutes, okay?
Okay.
The type of hazardous materials that we're used to are those that occur by accident. Unfortunately, we live in a society now where several well-publicised groups have threatened to use or have used chemical attacks. The authorities have recognised this, and now the fire service is in a much better position to deal with that, with large mass decontamination units distributed around the country who can respond at very short notice to provide the kind of protection and decontamination that might be required in the event of a terrorist atrocity such as that.
Engine control from Alpha 1 over.
Road traffic accidents involving tanker lorries carrying flammable liquids or industrial chemicals can be seriously dangerous. But the hazards can usually be quickly identified from the labels the lorries have to carry by law. More difficult are abandoned drums, which may not necessarily have labels. The firefighters have first to approach the potentially dangerous drums without having the first idea what's in them.
Ascertain what the chemical is over.
Fully rigged up in the CPS, the chemical protective suits, we will go and try and ascertain as to what the chemical actually is, the chemical name, quantity of the chemical. All that information is recorded and then passed to the incident commander, who can then find out more information, either going through control procedures or by using our mobile data terminal, which we carry on the CRU.
I'm going to take this back to them now. Okay.
So that's giving us sodium hydroxide solution, which is the most likely. Hazards are corrosive, attacks metals, and gives off toxic irritant fumes. Protection will be chemical protective clothing. Additional precautions: avoid personal contact. Spillage may be diluted, but avoid contamination of water courses, which suggests we will have to block the drains. Decontamination, copious amounts of water, so we'll use a shower for that. Okay, and we'll have a printed copy of that.
True to form, the exercise has not quite concluded when an emergency call comes in.
RPA trapped major!
In seconds, Green Watch are on the road.
Might as well be you. You do trauma again, Gav, please.
Suddenly, the situation worsens when the news of a second road accident comes over the radio.
Right, guys, just been informed that there's 2 incidents ongoing on the same bit of road. One on the April Straight, one on the Blowfield Bypass.
The control centre prioritises Sprowston to attend the RTA on a dual carriageway, where a car appears to have rolled over several times.
Can I have a situation update, please?
Yeah, just one vehicle. Nobody trapped at the moment. We're going to make the vehicle safe, over.
Yeah.
She's left to go.
Yeah? How many times has she gone over then, do you reckon?
A few, I think.
What we obviously got is the vehicle has been travelling down the dual carriageway and appears to have left the road, and looking at the damage to the vehicle has gone into rotation, rolled over. The female driver has sustained cuts and bruises only at this stage, but obviously as a precaution they'll take her to hospital. It would appear she's been extremely fortunate.
The driver's seatbelts undoubtedly saved her from serious injury. For the firefighters who regularly have to deal with serious injuries at road traffic accidents, failure to wear a seatbelt is a zero-tolerance issue.
It frustrates me all the time when I see parents and people who aren't using seatbelts, and they clearly have very little idea of the kind of problems that they're going to create. I don't claim to be the world's greatest driver, but I do have a clear understanding of physics, and when one large mass hits another large mass at speed, all you end up with is a whole world of pain.
Back at the fire station, there's little time to pack up the equipment from the interrupted chemical incident exercise when another emergency call comes in. An automatic fire alarm has gone off in a care home.
Without a doubt, every house should have a working smoke alarm. If they don't have a functioning smoke alarm, their chances of escaping from a fire in their home are so greatly reduced. We'd much rather turn up to a fire in its early stages rather than be carrying bodies out of the front door.
Arriving at the home, it transpires that cooking the evening meal accidentally set off a smoke alarm.
That one there? Okay. Most commercial and residential premises would have a system in place, an AFA, an automatic fire alarm system, which would detect a fire in its very early stages. Personally speaking, I would much rather that people had these detection systems and we're bothered every now and again by spurious alarms rather than not have the detection systems and take the consequences of that.
Greenwatch's final turnout of the day was a false alarm, but it makes no difference to the way the firefighters treat every call-out as potentially life-threatening.
There's a huge element of expectation as well as anything else to try and get this right. But that's it. Again, one additional pressure that we have is that when people are experiencing that sense of chaos, then they have to be able to believe that we can come and help them out in some way, shape or form, and I would expect that from my colleagues in the other emergency services as well.
Next time on 999 Frontline, Chelmsford's paramedics turn out for an expectant mother with severe abdominal pain.
Are you able to cope with the pain at the moment?
And Luton's scene of crime